All right, hey guys, welcome back to our 2:30 live program. I'm here at our Chesapeake Bay Aquarium. We're going to be feeding here in a minute. I'll talk about the variety of species, but first let me show you what we're feeding them right now, and then I'll talk about the fish in here. So here's our feeding bin. So we'll kind of go through it a little bit. I hope there's enough light for you to see that. I'm going to stick my hands in here, kind of alone, so. This is squid right here. That's kind of actually the head with the tentacles cut off. Looks like we have a piece of herring, some shrimp. So we're gonna find something else. Looks like a piece of ballyhoo sectioned up. And so these pieces are all about 1 to 2 inches square, depending on kind of the size of the fish. We cut the food to about that size. The larger fish generally take the larger pieces, and the smaller fish generally take the smaller pieces. So we're gonna go ahead and go upstairs and feed them. I'm gonna wait here, and she's gonna go up and drop the food in. So what we ordinarily do to feed here, so everybody can get food at the same time, is what's called broadcast feeding. So that just means we kind of throw the food, broadcast it widely into the tank, so you get a lot of coverage and all the fish have a chance to eat. Otherwise, all the aggressive fish will eat all the food if you dump it in one large section. So Jordan's upstairs, and she's going to go above a catwalk up above that tank, and you can't tell, but there's a current coming from left to right about where the sandbar shark is on the left up there, and she's going to start the food over there. Actually, she started feeding right now, so we're going to walk up here and watch him eat. So I'll just kind of let you guys watch as the food comes down, and then we'll start talking about what's eating here. So you see the kind of food is spread all about the tank, and they're kind of zipping around getting it. That aggressive kind of copper colored fish, the red drum. You see our pair of sandbar sharks right there. So the kind of broad fish in the middle there is a permit. The striped fish, the broad fish coming up here, are called spade fish because they're shaped like a spade. This is a black drum right here. And so I'll start fielding your questions here in a minute. And there goes one of our sandbar sharks, and there goes the other one. There's a permit. So I'm going to kind of let you guys watch a little bit. And I'm going to sit down and kind of narrate what's going on here. So we have a variety of fish, and the ideal thing in an aquarium, regardless of size, is to have fish in all throughout the water column, meaning you have fish up at the top, fish up at the bottom. So our two sandbar sharks are named Finley and Coral, and they were named during actually a naming contest, so you guys named them if you're out there watching. So we get them actually from a VIMS research center out on the eastern shore, and we'll have them for a year, maybe 2, and then we'll actually release them. So I'm going to take a question here. Declan wants to know how long these fish have lived in the aquarium. It depends on the fish, actually. The sharks have been in here. It'll be going on 2 years, so they'll be released shortly. The drum, one of these older drum we've had for quite a while since he was a juvenile. He's actually about 15 years old. We have the the permit. Have been in here maybe 3 or 4 years. We have Caitlin Orsborn says, how big can the fish get? It depends on the fish in here. The spade fish are about as big as they're going to get. That guy right there, a couple feet long. They get maybe 20 pounds. The sandbar shark, depending on male or female, they can get 6 to 7 feet or up to 8 feet after quite a while. They have to be about 12 to 15 years old at that point. This is a black drum here. They can get up to around 100 pounds and actually lived about 50 years old. So it says, Angela Gas Pounder says, how many sharks are in the tank? How big do they grow? There's 2 sharks in right now. The sandbar sharks are one of the smaller coastal sharks. You'll see them up here. We've had other species. We've had lemon sharks, nurse sharks. This tank it's pretty big it's 30,000 gallons, so it's good for a small shark. But once they get too big, about 3 feet, we're going to actually let them go. So we have to stick to the smaller species. So right here again, these are spade fish. That's a type of schooling fish. You'll see them around structure in the Chesapeake Bay. One fish I particularly like, and I know is a favorite of the aquarium staff, it's called a triple tail. He's up there. You can see the 3 lobe fins. That's why they call him a triple tail. And so they kind of rest sideways up near buoys and other type of structure. And so they're pretty neat fish. There goes the shark again. So do we have other sharks? We do have the Naveen Baquet asked, do we have other sharks? We have chain cat sharks, and that's about it. We actually breed them. We have quite a few of those. I did a live feeding this morning on them. And so we actually breed them and send them all across the country. Right now we have so many of them, we've stopped doing it. Like I said, we used to have nurse sharks, lemon sharks, but they get so big we always have to get rid of them after a certain point. So you see there's the triple tail again. He's really cool. I'm going to get a close-up of him. So he's really kind of a friendly social guy. We actually dive in this tank to clean it and scrub. We actually, just like you would at a home aquarium, we scrub the acrylic, we gravel wash it, and there's a drum. You see the whiskers on his chin there. He's a really friendly guy. Sometimes, next time I'll try and dive in the tank and feed these guys from hand. So Heather Congrove asked, or Cora age 7 says, how many teeth do sharks usually have? Again, that depends on the species. It can be from hundreds to thousands. They're constantly replacing their teeth. They kind of go in a conveyor belt fashion where the inside ones replace the outside ones. That's why you find so many shark's teeth, is they lose them constantly. There's your spadefish again. And so it depends on the shark too. Sandbar shark's kind of an in-between shark where they have kind of broad but spiky teeth to grab onto things. Other sharks, like a great white, has a serrated edge to kind of tear into other, like whale carcass or something. And my sister, Anna Killian, and her daughters are watching, so I'll give them a shout out. So again, here comes the sharks again. So these guys will probably be replacing them this year. Do the sharks eat the fish? These guys actually do not. We have had lemon sharks, which are much more voracious predators, and they actually did eat the fish. So we had to keep them in check and keep them fed because they kept eating the spadefish. Sharks, that's kind of in their nature. If they're opportunistic, if they can get an easy meal, they'll take it. And if they can take down a fish that's swimming slowly or injured, which is kind of their job in the wild, they'll do that. But otherwise, they're actually pretty docile. Compared to these other fish, we have to actually pole feed them, and they're trained to target feed, so we make sure they get enough food. Otherwise, they'll actually get out-competed by the other fish in here. So that's a good question, though. But these sandbar sharks will eat anything. They like crabs, lots of invertebrates, shrimp, stuff like that. And so you see the structure down here. These guys have all fed. Here's another one of the staff favorites. They're all at home. So hey guys, this is the gag grouper. We raised him from just a little guy, or her actually. Grouper, interesting, well, they're called protogynous, meaning they're female first. So every young gag grouper is actually female until it gets old enough, and then it switches to a male. So which is pretty neat. So that one's definitely a female. And so you see these permit, these are much more common in the tropics, and hopefully it'll sift through the sand. These guys kind of go along, like say down into the sand and sift for, invertebrates, maybe squid, shrimp, worms, stuff like that. So you'll see these guys kind of, there goes another one. So they get about 40 pounds. And they're actually a heavily muscled fish and very fast. So there's one right there. And these red drum, which I haven't really talked about, these are one of the more aggressive fish in here. They have that kind of distinct spot at the end of the tail, and obviously the reddish copper color. They get about 80 pounds or so, and they're really popular sport fish. If you ever eaten fish, it's called redfish, like blackened redfish is really popular, and that's what that is. So they're kind of a white flaky fish. I don't eat fish myself because we raise them and it would be weird. So there you saw him just kind of flex his jaws. So these guys actually get fed every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday and Sunday. And so they're kind of on schedule. They're used to it. We're usually do it at 2 o'clock. So if you guys are around here, when we're open again. You can watch us feed this live. And then we also dive in here on Thursdays as well, so you can watch that. That's at 3 o'clock. So we got a question here. So if I go fishing in the Chesapeake Bay, might I catch any of these fish? Yeah, you could catch any of these. These are all native species. That's a good question. The spadefish are really popular to eat. Someone said they're commonly eaten. Those are really popular right there. They're very mild fish. Actually, same with the permit. The triple tails are considered one of the best eating fish there are, though it's really sad because they're really sweet. And same thing with the grouper, of course. The grouper have a great personality, but you know, grouper sandwiches and grouper fingers and all that stuff, they're really popular where they're more common down south. But it's about the northern range for them to be common. They go up more in the summer, but this is about their lower range. And so there you see one of our sandbar sharks right there. It's a beautiful shark. So Aiden is from Diane Gonzalez. Aiden is asking, how often can they wait to eat? Well, a lot of fish, you know, they're cold-blooded, so their activity kind of depends on the temperature and how much food's available. So they'll kind of just hang around. These guys, they're active now because they just got fed. But a lot of times you come by, they're just kind of milling about, not wasting any energy. The sharks, of course, keep moving, but fish can actually go a really long time without eating. I don't recommend it if you have pets and all that, but fish can kind of, they're opportunistic, and sometimes if they're traveling or migrating, they don't get fed for quite a while, so they'll just eat what they can. So they can go days, even weeks without eating. So we can get your questions online and we can answer that for you, or you can come by and check us out again tomorrow morning when we'll be doing the trout and muskie feeding, which is going to be really fun. So our aquarium curator Patricia will be feeding the trout. Muskie are kind of a large predatory fish. That'll be at our Mountain Cove Habitarium. So make sure you visit us virtually on all of our natural education of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And there's always updated information on the VLM.org. And we thanks for watching. And please consider donating to our emergency fund to help us continue providing great care for our animals during the shutdown. We're all kind of here isolated, wearing masks and gloves and all that, but the fish need to be taken care of 24 hours a day, and do the birds and mammals and the herps. So we got a lot of people here coming in despite all the health issues to take care of these fish. So we thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time.